Amai, welkom bij deze video.
Wij zijn de waardemaximizers.
De waarde van meerderaars.
De waarde.
Alright, welcome to this video. In this video we will be exploring the Collaborator stance. And in order to do so, we're going to take a short look at one of the games that we created for the Advanced Product Owner Training. And based on this card deck, which is all about agile governance, which obviously has a lot to do with collaborating with people, Chris will randomly select a couple of topics that we will be discussing in this video.
Yeah,
so I hope you enjoy.
We won't cover all of them. There's plenty of stuff left in the training, don't worry. But I'll just randomly pick some topics where product owners typically struggle to collaborate, or maybe there are different ways of doing it. Let me see if I can find a nice one. That's the way with shuffling, you find one that you like. So Robin, what about business goals? Business goals and objectives. I mean, business goals, objectives, that's the stuff that the product owner sets, right? You are the product owner, you own the vision, you maximize the value, so you own the business goals and all the objectives that come with that, right?
Sounds good. Yeah. So what's the next question then? No, so yeah, business goals and objectives, just kidding. It's kind of a difficult topic. What we, from a Scrum theory perspective, would like to see, obviously, is that the Scrum team collaborates together, for example, on the sprint goal. And in that sense, business goals, objectives could be a Scrum team thing, you could say. Eventually, with the product owner being a value maximizer, it's obviously about defining a clear vision, understanding your customer problems correctly, trying out a couple of experiments, but really also about setting clear goals and objectives to see where we're heading together. And one of the things that could really help you as well is set clear business goals and clear objectives, which you can use in your goal-oriented roadmap, for example, which is one of the tools which you can use to communicate your business strategy with. So that's basically what I would say, the product owner setting clear goals and business objectives which feed into the roadmap.
Cool. Sounds like a plan. I was also wondering about contract management. So contract management. Doesn't the Agile Manifesto say something about contracts, collaboration, and we don't have contracts anymore, right?
It's one of those interesting things indeed, yeah. Customer collaboration is what we find more important than contract negotiation in Agile environments, you would say. Although the thing is, organizations can't live without contracts, obviously. We always need to arrange, make agreements, document some stuff about how we want to collaborate together. And that's also why Agile governance is one of the topics that we discuss in this Collaborator stance. And there's always contracts that you need, but there's multiple ways of doing that. And one of the contracts that we typically use in organizations is fixed price, fixed scope, fixed deadline, basically fixed everything. And that's kind of what screws us up in the end. If we fix everything, then there's no room to deviate from the plan. Just like planning in Agile environments isn't bad, it's just we create plans to deviate from them. And we create plans to see where we went in different directions. And the same goes for contracts. We need contracts in some form, but the way we do it is probably a bit different than in traditional organizations. And one of the things that tends to work for some companies is to have contracts where we pay the external vendor, for example, for each sprint. We can terminate the contract after each sprint, but maybe we keep some room in the budget saying that if, as a customer, we want to end the contract right now, our vendor gets paid another, 2 sprints to find a new assignment, for example. And doing it in that way could save you maybe 10 sprints which you don't have to pay, and it gives the vendor some room to find a new assignment. So that could be a way to deal with Agile contracts.
So basically you're saying we still have contracts, it's just the way the contract is structured makes us more agile.
Yeah, for example. Yeah, and there's many different things that you could put into a contract. Like how do we collaborate together, at what moments are we going to inspect our work, who is joining for that inspection moment. So there's a lot of different ways to deal with it.
That makes totally sense. All right, there's another one which is about facilitating meetings. And I love this question because I got this question last week. And it was about sprint review. And the person asking me the question said, surely, Chris, I as a Scrum Master have nothing to do with a sprint review because that's the product owner's party. He has to facilitate this particular meeting.
Nice. Yeah, and I would say it is indeed the product owner's party, but not necessarily saying that he has to facilitate everything. So the sprint review is basically the event where we all come together as the Scrum team with our stakeholders inspecting the work that was done during the sprint. And the idea is to collect as much feedback as we possibly can in the time box that we have and to see what next steps we're going to take. So to see how does this increment influence what we do in the next sprint? How does this increment the product that we created? How does it influence our roadmap? How does it influence our vision? What do people think about it and how do we move on? But the facilitation of the sprint review itself is not necessarily something that you want to do as a product owner yourself. A Scrum Master could help in that area, the development team could help in that area, maybe even a stakeholder could facilitate a review him or herself. So who facilitates it is basically just an agreement between the Scrum team members. And the same thing I hear a lot about is the Scrum Master, who should facilitate all the events. But basically it's about what agreements do you make together, right? And that's something that could be interesting for a discussion and maybe make some agreements on in your governance.
Cool. Final question. Decision making. Because after all, I am the product owner, so I make all the decisions.
Yes, in the perfect world, probably, but not in the real world. So, although maybe not even in the perfect world. So decision making is really a governance topic. If you look at definitions of governance, it's about structures, it's about responsibilities, accountabilities, it's about people. So there's all kinds of factors or things related to governance. So all these cards that you have are also various governance topics. And basically decision making is also one of these things that you have to talk about with your Scrum team. So when it comes to are we adding some work to the product backlog or not, it's probably something you're going to decide, right? But if it's about the quality of the work, about the definition of done and what stuff is in there, it should be the development team, probably together with architects, security people, business people, you as a product owner. So there's a lot of different people involved in that. There's also, for example, when adding something to the product backlog, you could say, well, that's my typical decision as a product owner. You could also say, well, as a product owner, I want to create more room to do some other stuff. Maybe do some more stakeholder management, maybe spend more time on carrying out your vision, maybe some other stuff. So it could very well be that you delegate a lot of decision making about adding or removing work from or to the product backlog to your development team as well.
Cool. Well, thanks, Robin. I learned a lot. As you can see, there are still plenty of questions left. So I hope you join us in the training and we make a deeper dive into this magical topic of how to collaborate as a product owner. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this episode, move on to the next one. Or
join us or follow us on Medium and LinkedIn to get inspired with even more content.
Or come to our training.